What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to contact me, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new album from Nas called King's Disease 2. Now, we don't got to do a big introduction here because we all know who Nas is. He's a New York icon, legend, pioneer. Those are the type of words you would use to describe him. But last year, he did win his first Grammy with the first King's Disease album. And I think everybody felt a little bit skeptical when they first heard that he was doing King's Disease 2, because how bold of a move is that? I mean, you win a Grammy, then you follow it up the next year with a sequel, and sequels don't always go over so well in hip-hop, but this is an instance where I actually like the sequel better than the original. I think this is a really dope album, and I thought the first one was dope too, but this one in particular surpasses that. So one of the things I really appreciated about this album is how Nas makes it perfectly clear that he accepts his position in life and also in the rap game. The Pressure works perfectly as an intro track because it sets that tone, as Nas is on here rapping about the pressure that he feels as one of the GOATs, and he even touches on his legacy where he's inspired a slew of MCs and given back to the community. All that is highly respectable, and I also respect how, as one of the biggest names in hip-hop, Nas is not hating on the youngins and the youth movement. He's actually supporting it quite a bit. He makes this clear on the classy lounge joint moments where he raps, "My whole career I steered away from features, but I figured it's perfect timing to embrace new leaders." And honestly, this is exactly what he does on YKTV, or You Know the Vibes, where A Boogie and YG join in to deliver a trunk slapping trap banger. This one absolutely pounds and has bass thicker than Leighton Benton. One thing I will say about this album, and this song is a perfect example of what I'm about to say, is that Nas does a great job of staying true to his style, his sound, his content, all the things that make people appreciate Nas as an MC. But what's so cool here is how he adds these modern features and some of these modern production styles and still makes it work. To me, that's the true sign of a great MC, when you can be versatile and fit in on any type of beat with just about anybody and still sound dope. So Nas has really gotten better at that. I mean, he's always been pretty good at that, but I think in recent years he's really done that even better on the first King's Disease and this one as well. Oh, one more thing, by the way, before I forget, I gotta shout out on You Know the Vibes, where we get the Djibouti Dubs samples throughout. I don't know if you guys remember those Djibouti Dubs sample clips from way back in the day. Must be like 10 years ago now or something like that. But he did some clips on YouTube featuring Billy Mays that were absolutely hilarious. Look them up, Djibouti Dubs Billy Mays. You will not be disappointed, I promise you that. Now, Nas continues to embrace that new sound on 40's side, where he glides over an eerie banger with some Lil Baby ad-libs. I believe they're sampled from a song of his. But the thing that stood out to me the most about this track is how we do get a little throwback to Juvenile's song Ghetto Children. That's a classic track from a classic album. You'll pick up on this on the outro of this song. And even though 40's side isn't terrible, I would say it's my least favorite song here. I just found the beat to be a little bit bland. There wasn't too much going on with it, but I did appreciate how Nas was attacking this beat and working some really modern flows. Just keep in mind when you watch my reviews that least favorite doesn't always mean trash. Sometimes a song is just my least favorite out of the bunch, but I would still listen to this in the playlist and not skip over it. So it does have some nice bass to it, and it works for what it is. But to keep with the topic of Nas embracing modern times and the youth, he even speaks directly to them on the song Rare, where he flips bouncy flows over a beat that has more evolutions than an Eevee. That is a lot of evolutions. Here he spits, "Too many young gods beef over nothing. When you get money, you know that's coming." And he drops even more knowledge on the groovy laid-back track Count Me In when he says, "Seen ego and greed take over and kill 100 kings. Daily 100 niggas come for me." So Nas has been through it all in his hip-hop career, and I think it's really dope how he shares these messages and passes it down to the youth. That's what you should do when you're up here, you know what I mean? Once you get up in age, you should be passing these ideas on to the next generation so that they can do better and maybe learn from your mistakes. There's even a track on here called My Bible, which is a perfect example of this. You're getting this organ-driven beat that works perfectly because it's called My Bible. You got this gospel feel going on, and here Nas is dropping a slew of topics as he speaks to men, women, and children, just dropping wisdom, dropping knowledge, giving lots of lessons. But the line that stuck out the most to me is when he spit, "Don't rap about death, it's power in what you say." I thought that was a very deep line because it's all about the power of words, and that line right there leads me perfectly into my favorite track on this album, Death Row East. I absolutely love this beat. It just has a really good feel to it as he's doing a lot of storytelling. And what the story here is about is all about that East Coast, West Coast beef in the 90s. Nas takes us back. He gets very vivid. He's putting a lot of information out there about how people were moving. He's rapping about how there was going to be a death row east, how he met up with Pac. Of course, Pac passed away. This was actually the track that just stuck out to me the most because of how intricate it is. I think this is a perfect example of an MC who's been through a lot, putting all this information out there for us to take in, whether we knew all these details or not. It's just such a great track, man. It's very compelling. One of my favorite tracks of the year by far. So it's a nice blast from the past to go back in the 90s like that. And another good blast from the past is the song Nobody. This actually has Lauryn Hill joining Nas for the first time since the 1996 song If I Ruled the World. We get a jazzy beat here with a glorious sax outro as Nas is rapping about all the places he's lived and traveled, just letting us know that he's been around the world. Again, he's been there, he's seen that, he's done it all. As for Lauryn Hill, she absolutely snaps on this one, man. She is not missing a beat, she is going off, and I really appreciate how she addresses her consistent lateness when she spits. My awareness like Keanu in The Matrix, I'm saving souls and y'all complaining about my lateness. If you didn't understand that line, this is about how Lauryn Hill is always late for her shows. It's become a meme at this point on Twitter. I mean, you see it anytime her name comes up, whenever she's supposed to perform somewhere, people are wondering if she's going to be late or if she's going to show up at all. So I do appreciate her for poking fun at herself, because that's what you got to do sometimes. It ain't always that serious. Now, another track that caught my attention is Store Run, and that's because I'm a sucker for a good soul sample, which this song has. There are more great lines here too, like rich from corporate or thuggin', expensive mistakes, it's all a racket, it's the same thing, just the risk that you take. And also, mention me with Mick Jagger and Bono like you're supposed to, I'm standing next to rookies, somehow they looking older. To me, these lines just speak on how far Nas has come. I mean, he's been around for a long time, since the 90s, and yet even next to the rap rookies, his style is not outdated, man. He has aged very well. His bars still work. He is also evolving and working with these new sounds, these more modern styles. Or it could also be a literal bar about how Nas damn near has looked the same forever. That man does not age too much at all, so I don't know what he's doing, but he's got the magic touch. Now, to wrap up some stray tracks, we do have No Phony Love. This one I don't have too much to say about. It's just your typical dope rap and R&B track with a great feature from Charlie Wilson. So if you want your lovey-dovey relationships joint, there it is. It's pretty solid. And Brunch on Sundays, that doesn't provide much in the way of talking points either. Just about Brunch on Sundays, essentially, how Nas loves Sundays. It's very light and breezy, and you get some gorgeous strings on the outro. So I thought it sounded fine, but it wasn't the track that really kept my attention. There's also the song Composure. This opens up with a Hit Boy verse, and while I don't think he's a bad rapper, he really just does not stick out to me at all. Whenever I hear a Hit Boy verse, I'm kind of just sitting there going, okay, this is pretty good. It definitely doesn't ruin tracks, but he doesn't have an overly distinct sound, and he's not making me rewind with his bars or anything like that. But he's pretty dope. It's a nice song, and Nas is on here talking about how he got into hip-hop and was doing some writing as a kid. And of course, we do got to talk about EPMD 2. Now, I didn't like the first one that we got on the Judas and the Black Messiah soundtrack. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't a favorite track of mine. But this one is kind of nice because it adds a nice twist. You actually get EPMD on here showing that they still have chemistry after all those years. And then you do get your typical Eminem feature, the type of verses he's been dropping in recent years, where he just goes on and on. It's just a run-on flow where he's showing his technical skill, mashing words and syllables together. I mean, you know what it is by now. If you love these Eminem verses, you're going to think this is the verse of the year. You're absolutely going to love it. But if you're like me, you hear these verses and you just don't really care anymore. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's terrible. I'm not going to say that he can't write or he can't rap. That would be obnoxious for me to do that, because I do appreciate the technical skill of piecing the words together. But it's just not for me, man. I'd rather he slowed down a little bit, maybe broke down some more ideas, got some better clever bars in there. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm sure I'm going to get eaten up either way, because I know how Eminem stands are. You can't say anything about M, but it is what it is, man. I just don't care for his style these days, so time for me to not even bother with some of this Eminem music. But I'll continue to talk about it because I review music. But anyway, we're rambling here. So I think this is a really dope follow-up from Nas, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really did like this one. I think it's amazing to me how he's come so far. He's still delivering quality work. And again, to follow up your Grammy award-winning album the next year with something even better, man, that is very impressive. It's actually kind of interesting that Nas and Tyler, the Creator, dropped better albums than the albums they won Grammys for, in my opinion. I'm curious to see what you guys think about that, because I think Tyler's latest album is better than Igor. So there you have it. This album ends with the song Nas is Good. I think it's pretty good as a closer because it's soulful, it's very honest, as Nas is on here just rapping about doing his best to leave his sins in the past and stay on the right path. Certainly seems like he's doing that just fine on this album. It's really dope. One of my favorite Nas projects to come out within the past decade, or I don't know how. I would have to go back so far. Maybe I could rank Nas's discography sometime. That would be quite a bit of work to do that, but it would be interesting to see where this one would land. I just know I really like this. I think it's great that he's still this dope in 2021, so we'll see what he does next, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about this one. So let me know down in the comments section. I always want to talk about hip-hop with you guys. Thank you for sticking with the channel, man. I really do appreciate all of you for watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, supporting, passing it on to your friends. And we do have a big-ass rundown episode coming up probably a couple days after this, maybe about a week. We'll see how this one gets traction, and then I'll work on editing and releasing this rundown to follow up this review right here. So there you have it. Let me know what you think down below. Make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it, man. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.